Okay, so today we're going to this is our second podcast, and we're going to slow it down a little, talk more about who we are, where we're from, how we met, and what we're doing with synchronicity and just our worldview and things like that.
All right.
And also, we both saw a movie together yesterday, which was pleasant.
Probably one of the best sync movie experiences I've had with you in a while, actually.
Yeah, and this was the Keanu Reeves movie, the new one, Good Fortune.
Good Fortune, but we'll talk about that later.
Talk about it in a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's probably good to kind of go into background a bit. So, well, my name is Jim Saunders. I am the director of Tonkiri. Tonkiri is a healing center on the Whitemouth River here in Manitoba, and we've been there for 10 years. But I guess my profession is I'm an ayahuasquero. So I run ayahuasca ceremonies, and I work with plant medicines from the Ashaninka tradition. I was a student of Maestro Flores from Mayantiacu, Peru for 20 years. And I guess that's relevant because before I met you, I was quite a activist, anarchist, really no time for anything spiritual or anything of the sort. And anyways, my journey, led me to South America, and I got introduced to ayahuasca and stuff there, and I made a film about the drug war and coca farmers and the resistance in Bolivia. And that kind of got me really interested into plants and what role they played in social movements. And so I started looking deeper and, learned about ayahuasca, and then came back to Canada. And I think it was Jeremy Narby's book, The Cosmic Serpent, DNA and the Origins of Knowledge. Read that, and that just really kind of lit up a light bulb in my head. And so I reached out to him, and to make a long story short, I ended up in Peru in 2005 with at Mayantiacu, which is Juan Flores' healing center, and I was introduced to ayahuasca. And that first visit really kind of turned my whole world upside down. And for the first time, I started to entertain that there was such a concept of spirits, even God. And I came back, and I kind of went a little crazy. I was pretty charged up with all this new downloads I was getting in the jungle from the plants and stuff. And I was basically came back searching for anything online or in books that kind of could feed my hunger to know more about this world, and really sifting through a lot of stuff. If in hindsight I would look back and think be a little ashamed about some of the stuff, but just looking into some more esoteric sides of existence. And I remember coming to this website called Brave New World, and I started reading a bunch of stuff. I think I saw some video, and it was about Atlantis and mushrooms and stuff, and I remember watching and thinking, this is pretty cool, pretty aligns with what I'm kind of thinking, but I was like, I don't know about the mushrooms part, but pretty cool. And so I looked into who's this guy doing this blog post, and it was you. And I'm pretty sure I determined you were from South Africa at the time, or you definitely had your accent from South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was so impacted that I actually reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe what happened there?
Yeah, I think that.
So
was
I just want to say 2006, right?
2007. That's what I remember.
I think it's 2006, but yes,
could be 2006.
Yeah.
I was the moment I got your email, I was in England looking at crop circles. I remember.
Of course you were.
Thinking that was
your crop circle phase.
my crop circle phase.
We all go through it.
Yeah. And I mean, I was definitely on my own trajectory, very much still, I mean, into mysticism. I'd already thought of synchronicity in terms of synchromysticism. So I was definitely in that realm, but the conspiracy thing, the sort of attraction to occult things, there was just sort of a tinge there, which I think, after I met you and started doing ceremony and that kind of thing, I think that really changed a lot of the trajectory of how
Which is interesting.
Lens. Yeah.
Because, I mean, the journey into, I believe you would agree with me, the journey into realizing God usually includes going through the conspiracy occult. Well, not if you're going through like the church direction, but if you're going through our path. So it is kind of interesting. I mean, those were the days for us, right?
Yeah.
So it is pretty interesting to see how we've come through it in a different way.
Yeah, yeah, and it's always kind of interesting to me because I still see so many people that I feel like are on that journey.
Well, you can get stuck.
Or you can just totally. You're just stuck, and it's kind of like that's then how you view the world.
Yes,
or some thing adjacent to that is what's.
Well, I mean, that our story of doing sync really is informed by that kind of separation, really. So
yeah,
but yeah, so I mean, I think you were like, but I just remember you were like, I reached out to you. I was like, hey, cool video, and I think I might have asked you like, where do you live? And you're like, in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was a complete surprise, but
for me it was.
But it's funny enough.
You'd seen my film.
I'd heard of you before
you
reached out because.
I was really popular.
You were like a local celebrity.
Well, I rode in the Uptown,
But for sure, I went to a bookstore once and spoke to one of the guys there, and talking about just Illuminati stuff and David Icke and just a bunch of random stuff that.
Hey, let's talk about lizard people.
And the guy was saying that if I'm interested in ayahuasca and these 2012 things, whatever weird stuff I was into at the point, he was like recommending to go watch one of your documentary films, which was at the university. I think it was The Real Thing.
Yeah, it was the Bolivia one.
You and Andre. Yeah, so I went and checked that out, and it was cool. And
you were at that screening.
I was at that screening. Yeah, and that's the first time I was aware of you. And
really one of the 12 people. No.
Yeah, something like that. And and then I saw that you were writing in the Uptown, and me and my girlfriend at the time, we would always read those articles, and we were just like, this is like a kindred spirit sort of thing. So, but I never really reached out or did anything about that, and but I was very curious about ayahuasca and stuff. So when you reached out, I was like, yeah,
that's a good thing. Yeah, I remember us. I think we met at Stella's for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. No, it wasn't that exact one, but there was another time I was at Stella's where Frank Albo was there, and he was just overhearing a conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, "You're Jake," but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, well, it isn't. We'll have to do a Frank Albo interview.
Yeah, that would be great.
And then I guess we just kind of got into sync and movies at that point. I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, you were already doing it. I mean, you started off with the 911 trade tower sync, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I feel like that was like my main focal point before I met you, and for a long time it was basically 9/11 stuff. So
good times, eh?
Just synchronicity surrounding 9/11 was sort of my focus, and then I think with doing ceremony, just more and more noticing that it's like it's everywhere, it's everything, and other themes became, you introduced me to like the 42 thing, which became a big thing, and Jupiter and that. So it did shift the lens. I feel like now it's just like
and then I think one seminal point was the Gator blog spot, which we started doing ourselves and with other people, and it really kind of exploded. And then it was interesting because, I definitely think we kind of reacted to a bit more, to a bit of the occult side of it and moved more into just, like enough of this, like, not wanting to think our sync was pointing to these nefarious plots.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'm going to make sync about the most silly, mundane stuff. Like Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. And seeing it more as like a thing to go beyond your ego and your identity and that kind of thing. Not to strengthen it and make yourself like bigger and more important, but to kind of like, you like, and I feel like because you are like, with the shamanistic indigenous worldview that's more seeing everything as alive, sort of an animistic thing, and that to me is far more what sync is pointing towards.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that because it's like, in the Amazon, let's say Wonkaway Sacha, which is a plant you drink to, it's a purgative, and you use it to kind of heal your heart and clean, and it's shaped like a heart. And that's very much the indigenous worldview. Like, nature is literally speaking to us in symbols and shapes and forms and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Though, I was thinking about that, as like, to be able to read those symbols and forms and shapes, not anyone can just do it. So you can't just say, okay, nature's speaking to me, and go out on the street and be like, this means that. This means that. Like, no, this is coming through like millennia of communities working with plants and doing it. So it's like my disclaimer to be, you know what I mean? So, but it's still a thing, right? So, I think it just kind of took that worldview and supplanted it into our modern world, and cinema was obviously the perfect focal point for it kind of thing. But that, then it like, just reminiscing of our evolution of doing that, we started doing sync walks.
Yes.
So we would like, I guess the best way to describe it is we would go walking, we'd go see a movie. Yeah. And we would walk for like really far.
Yeah.
Like hour and a half.
2 hours.
Walks, yeah. And we'd have conversations, and we would start seeing things like garbage on the signs on the stores, garbage on the street. Yeah. Having conversations, letting it flow that way. And then we'd go watch a movie. Yeah. And everything we just experienced in our walk would be reflected in the movie.
Yeah, there would be like numbers or themes or, things we were talking about were like in the movie. So just becoming very aware of the, I guess, the non-local read-through that I think is ever present in everything. Yeah. But the movie becomes like a window for really focusing on that.
Someone could listen to us and say that sounds like totally insane
and I'd be sympathetic to that view.
Me too, actually.
But I do think there's a certain amount of, like you were saying, is that you need, like, there's either this tradition or, like, for me, like, definitely like a deep, deep sense of humility, which can include being aware of where, like, meaning of words, meaning of these things are sacred traditions, really. Yeah. They're not, I don't feel like they're hard and fast like laws, but there's reasons for them. Yeah. But there's also a opening and potential for new meaning and new insight into things. Yeah. I think you're allowed to, but there's definitely a sense of you need to be grounded and you need humility.
You need grounded humility first before this is...
And you can always be wrong,
Well, you have to be ready for that. Yeah. It has to be an element of play. Yeah. And it can't be... you need to be grounded in, like, these eternal qualities of, like, humility and... just basically humility, really. And I think, a lot of this, I would actually say, as we were doing the ayahuasca and the ceremonies and doing this work, and we kind of did it hand in hand. We really started aligning going to movies and ceremony, right? Yes. I think we need to recognize that, like, the teachings that we were working with from Juan Flores and the medicine that we're working for are themselves grounded in humility. Because some people can drink ayahuasca and it just inflames the ego. Right? And then this would be dangerous.
It's 100%.
So it's very fortunate for us that we follow that path in these teachings of Maestro and the humility. Yeah. Which I think allowed us to enter into these spaces in a safe way. Mm-hmm. I think, Yeah. And also And I would even argue in the early days we weren't fully grounded.
No, 100%.
You know, I was raising kids, and it was,
and a certain, you feel like you're seeing something that's like, okay, well, the world is going to be completely different any day now. There's like a massive change, world peace, like tomorrow kind of thing. That's sort of like a bit of a mania.
Yeah.
But I feel like for a lot of people that discredits this path, but I don't feel that way. I feel like the idea of going a little bit overwhelmed by spirit is not that. That's like almost every religious tradition has that element of getting overwhelmed by spirit. But then, you move through that phase.
If you believe world peace is coming every day, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It all depends how you act and move forward if it's not achieved.
Yes.
But that, you know what I mean? But so if you don't want to spiral out, but if you're like, today's the day, that's not a bad thing.
No. And
tell me you got to do the dishes
and
pay
it's
the bills and stuff like that.
In my brain to that higher truth of the ever-presentness of the underlying peace that is existence. And you keep thinking, okay, now it's going to open up.
Well, I mean, the kingdom is near.
The kingdom is, exactly, it's that.
Or it's imminent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it is. You can step into it at any moment.
I think you can make an argument for almost all religions coming out of a sense of mania about getting intoxicated with spirit.
Yeah, because you're you're literally touching the field of peace of God, and screaming it from the rooftops.
That's right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
But and then I was thinking about how we evolved with the ceremony and the sync stuff, and I remember there was a few times where we actually would do ayahuasca and then watch a movie.
Yeah.
And remember specifically the taps with Tom Cruise?
Right.
So we did a ceremony, and then we watched Tom Cruise. We were still pretty feeling the medicine. It was a little this is weird.
I feel like the taps one was sort of like, I'm not feeling it very much. I'm not feeling it. You were kind of like, I'm not feeling it much either. Put on taps, and it's like,
yeah. And then and then there's a scene in the car, and he's wearing a t-shirt with the number 42.
Yeah.
And just the explosion of joy, that's at that moment was like confirmation.
and then just that awareness of the alignment of where you are inside yourself and what's happening on screen, and just how related that is. It's not like you're creating it, but that field of connection between everything you're experiencing real time
And then you get to the idea that the theater and cinema becomes a good metaphor for describing existence and different levels of consciousness. Going from being the audience to being, I guess, one with the director behind the camera.
That's right.
Kind of thing. So it does seem to be a real pointer
to
that, and obviously a reason why, this was part of our philosophy, is that in a way, cinema is the modern religion, and the movie theaters are the temples, kind of thing. So.
Yeah. And I guess the screen as a metaphor for consciousness and reality is part of it to me. And that manifestation of screens in our reality and story and narrative is like a reflection of, it's like a fractal of existence and of creation.
Yeah.
So the idea that meditating on a screen will, enlighten if you doing it the right way.
Yeah, and when the movie's over, the screen is still there.
Yeah.
So,
And then other things we would regularly talk about, like the words, they echo with these profound things, like the stars. Like a movie is full of stars.
Totally.
And it's like you're looking at things that have enlightened people for generations, for thousands of years, like the heavens and the stars. And I feel like those words are profound, and they're not just about people's egos and being famous. It's like they're because the screen has a relationship to heaven,
very much,
awakening and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. And then we did, I remember there's some times we did 3 movies in a day or whatever. and ceremony and stuff.
Yeah, we would do all the major releases of
Yeah.
that weekend to sort of see if there's bleed through even between those, and there would always be something kind of thing.
Well, maybe this is a good segue into our experience last night.
Yeah. So we went and watched Good Fortune. This Aziz what's his name?
I'm gonna let you try to say it, but
Ansari.
Yes.
Aziz Ansari.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his new film.
And it's his first directorial debut.
Yeah.
And I had it was on my radar for a while.
Yeah.
It was with Seth Rogen and Keanu Reeves, and I really didn't know what to expect. But
I think I saw like one trailer, kind of, sort of half watching.
But
before.
Goodness, did it speak to me.
Yeah, very timely.
And so I mean, I guess the premise being Keanu Reeves is I'm not going to ruin it, but we might ruin it a bit actually.
Maybe a bit.
So if you want to see Good Fortune, don't watch this right now, or do, But is Keanu Reeves is a lower level angel that wants to become a higher level angel. And I guess what piqued my interest in it is in the last year or so, I've been really thinking about angels. And I had asked Maestro Flores like a year ago what plant could connect me with the archangels. Well, specifically it was Archangel Michael. And he told me the plant to do so was Ishpingo, which is medicine made from a tree in the Amazon. And so I started drinking Ishpingo and thinking about angels more and bringing it into ceremony and stuff. And turns out Ishpingo is actually the medicine that you use to connect to all the angels, not just Michael. But then, me being me and born of our movie sync stuff, I started also watching movies with angels. And specifically the classic with John Travolta, Michael.
Mm-hmm. The smoking angel.
The smoking angel, right? So, which was very interesting because he is like a chain smoker.
Yeah.
In the movie. And I thought that was really interesting because in the tradition I practice, I'm actually not referred to as an Ayahuasca. I'm a Sheri Piari. It's one who blows tobacco. Mm-hmm. And the mapacho, or the Nicotina rustica, the tobacco we use, is integral for the whole healing process. And it's by smoking it, you're inviting in the good spirits to be near you and to protect you. And as you know, we at Tonkari and Dama Antiochu smoke a lot of mapacho, and some would say we chain smoke.
Yeah.
So anyways, I thought that was really interesting. But then where it was starting to interest me is that Ishpingo, beyond being the plant that connects you to the angels, what I had known about it before was it's the plant to heal your lungs or asthma. So it's to heal, your lungs, which connects to smoking, cigarettes and chain smoking, but it's also the plant to connect to the angels.
Yeah.
And then here's Archangel Michael in the movie smoking, chain smoking. I was like, there's a connection between angels, smoking, Ishpingo. And the more I thought about it, I also thought it was really interesting is that our lungs are very much shaped like angel wings.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting because it's as an Ayahuasquero and as a healer, the main thing you do is you sing these icaros, these songs of gratitude for the plants, and you're singing from your lungs, right? So it just seemed to be like perhaps to fly like an angel comes from your lungs, right? So, anyways, I thought it was a really interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, it's neat to think of how the movies reflect
very much
that insight, at least very much of the connection between angels and smoking.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that was and that's something we spoke about before watching Good Fortune.
Oh yeah.
And then going into the theater is very much...
Well, there's one more though, because there's Michael, but there's Constantine.
There's Constantine.
So maybe describe how smoking connects to that.
So to begin with, it's just interesting how strong an angel theme Constantine has.
And Keanu Reeves.
And so, And good fortune,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously going in, one already knows that it's another angel thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, angels is just all throughout Constantine. And also the smoking relationship repeats in that, because Constantine, he's a chain smoker. He has lung cancer.
He's lung cancer, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literally key part of the plot is the
Yeah.
smoking, and a key part of the plot is
Yeah.
the relationship between the angels and the humans, and
Yeah, yeah.
Constantine's involvement in
Yeah.
all these
Yeah.
kinds of angelic matters. So,
Yeah.
you know, Angela is like the main female protagonist in that movie.
Yeah.
They're in the city of angels and they focus on the angel. The first time you see Keanu Reeves in that movie,
Yeah.
it's like he comes out of an angel cab, you know.
Yeah.
Like just a,
In Constantine, he's not an angel, is he?
he's not an angel,
Okay.
no.
But he's with
constantly interacting with angels and angels and
Okay.
demons. Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool. So that was kind of like what set up
Yeah.
going to see Good Fortune.
Yeah.
Because in that Keanu is an angel. So, very interesting. I mean, let's maybe touch on in Good Fortune, he does, when he becomes a human at one point in the movie, he starts smoking.
Yeah, he starts indulging in human, you know.
And I just want to say,
the smoking is very much highlighted.
I wouldn't be surprised if angels on Earth, I wouldn't blame them for smoking. I mean, the Earth is pretty stressful. I could see if I was an angel down here, I'd be like, fuck it, just...
Yeah, I mean, there is a certain, of course, there's an amount of calming and grounding that comes from smoking that I think, you know, the world is stressful, you know, and people smoke as a form of, you know, I think there's healthier ways to do it. You know, that's why.
You judging me?
Well, no, but it's clear that, you know, what we smoke during ceremony is not,
it's
not cigarettes.
It's not cigarettes.
You know, there's a big difference between ceremonial tobacco
and the stuff that is full of chemicals.
Yeah, but it's like, but I guess just to go back to Good Fortune, he specifically talks about chain smoking.
Yeah.
And you were leaned over and we were talking about chain reaction.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really interesting because as part of the stuff that when I was rewatching Constantine, I was also realizing, he's been with Rachel Weisz, the Angela from Constantine, one of the main characters, before in Chain Reaction.
Okay.
So, you know, that was like her first big film.
Oh, no way.
So even just the chain reaction and the smoking, chain smoking, that line feels like it connects pretty profoundly with Keanu Reeves in other ways as well.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a great scene with him smoking, and it's funny too. I mean, because I like how this even bleeds into when Keanu was in Winnipeg shooting a film, and hanging out outside the doors of the Hotel Fort Garry in Winnipeg.
That's right. Yeah,
and supposedly he'd be hanging out there smoking.
Yeah, people would tell me, they saw Keanu, because I was working at a yoga studio that was related to the hotel, the fancy hotel in Winnipeg, the Fort Garry, and the yoga studio, Yoga Public. Same owners, and they would constantly like send people from one, you know, people going to the yoga public would go to the Fort Garry and back and forth. It was like there's just down the street, and they were like basically at the same institution, and people would give you updates about the celebrities there. And the Keanu Reeves smoking outside of the Fort Garry was like, you know, something that stood out as a thing that was happening in Winnipeg at that point.
And so one of the surprises of the film, just bring this all full circle, was so Seth Rogen plays this like really rich tech bro, and it's done quite well. It's pretty funny. And Aziz is his assistant, who's just like down on his luck and life sucks, and he becomes Seth Rogen's assistant.
Yeah.
And one of the jobs that Seth Rogen asked him to do is to find an ayahuasca ceremony for him, because it's like on his to-do list.
Yeah.
And so Aziz finds Tammy.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Seth Rogen at his ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah.
And I just want to say I have yet to see a fair representation of ayahuasca in movies, but at the same time, much of it is actually correct, because there's a lot of bad ayahuasca out there and people doing silly things. And I know exactly, like, you know, in that scene there, they're like, we're going to do some mushrooms and some ayahuasca. And you know what? That sounds insane, but people do that.
People do
so
that.
It's crazy. Don't do that, kids at home. Anyways, it cuts to him drinking and purging and puking.
Yes.
And it's pretty great because Aziz is going back and he just donated like his blood or something, and he's puking because he's down, his poverty. So it's kind of an interesting,
yeah,
whatever. And then it goes through the whole movie, and then later on, and Aziz and Seth Rogen switch bodies and learn about life and friendship and what's important and meaning and everything. And then at the end, it cuts to Seth Rogen. When Aziz and Seth Rogen go back to their bodies again because they've resolved their issues, it cuts to Seth Rogen coming out of the ayahuasca ceremony. So the whole premise is that the actual, even though Angel, or Keanu Reeves, the Angel, orchestrated this whole body switching and learning, there's also the suggestion that the experience as perceived by Seth Rogen was his ayahuasca experience.
That's right. The whole thing you've just witnessed was his ayahuasca journey.
And I thought that was pretty dead on. I was not expecting that. So, I mean, and the other part of the movie I just liked, not so much because of its sync, just the way it kind of critiqued Silicon Valley and tech.
Yeah.
And the gig economy and, the loss of humanity and everything that's happening now. And
I mean, that stuff to me was great too. The basics of the movie, the actual plot of the movie, which was like sort of a critique. Yeah,
so it's just a good movie, even though we've ruined it for you. But I'd highly go see it. So
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like the slow pace, and the humor, and then the message,
the dry wit,
the basic, the deeper stuff, but even the superficial, just people inequality between rich and poor, and how that's like. It's not like you're lazy if you're poor.
Exactly.
Or there's a lot of context and a lot of, things that it's not as simple as, people who have more deserve more. Kind of
but,
thing.
it's interesting too because I'm not a big fan of AI. And so they touch on that. And I just really find it interesting how like artificial intelligence is like... to me, the opposite of is ayahuasca intelligence. It means like one is the intelligence of the whole planet and the whole spiritual world's coming together, and the other is exactly what it says. It's artificial. It's like fake intelligence. Great, give me that fake intelligence. So, I don't know. I thought it was pretty good, but I kind of brought up the fact that Aziz recently there was that big. Comedy festival in Riyadh.
Yeah.
In Saudi Arabia, and he was one of the comedians that went.
Yeah, which is pretty ironic.
Pretty ironic considering
the female movie, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he's still a good guy.
Yeah, I saw an interview this morning because I was interested in this.
Was he one of the ones that tried to give his money away?
He was.
And they said no?
I said no.
He tried to give his profits to Human Rights Watch and they're like,
I believe
we don't want your blood money.
What I saw was an interview with him on Jimmy Kimmel where part of the interview was, how do you respond to people criticizing? Yeah. And his take was that, he felt like he has like an aunt who lives there or something, and the government doesn't represent everybody who lives there. And he wasn't doing the comedy for just, rich people. He was doing it so people there can see it. And he wants to create and foster, openness between different countries and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I get it.
Easy to still shoot that down.
Yeah.
But, that's
I know. I'm not going
to
not watch his movies.
From that. Yeah. No, I know.
I wouldn't do it.
It is certainly ironic that is part of the story.
Yeah. And, I don't know. Anything?
Well, I guess just another Keanu Reeves thing that I've recently gone through. Somewhat. I was more interested in Charlize because she's in the movie Bombshell where she interviews Donald Trump. And there's a lot of Trump references in that one. It's like these Me Too movie about these people being terrible and and abuse at the workplaces with these powerful women. And Charlize is like Megyn Kelly.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
It's like a real story based on a true story. And she's like, interacting with Trump, and it's all about the sexism and these allegations and kind of things. And what was interesting to me is like, I remembered that in The Devil's Advocate, which is kind of interesting because it could connect it. I'm sure there's angels in there, but definitely demons, definitely the devil, definitely angelic themes or themes of, I'm sure there's fallen angel references and stuff in there, but for sure you could make a connection between the themes of Constantine and good fortune. But what's really interesting is that there's a scene in that movie where the Keanu Reeves is actually in Trump's apartment, like the gilded everything, Trump's apartment. So it's just a neat little moment, and it's supposed to represent opulence and almost like, it's not like Al Pacino's apartment, but it's like the guy who in the movie is like a murderer and Keanu Reeves is trying to get him off, kind of thing. So it's just neat that they chose Trump's apartment to shoot that in as like a representation of the most extreme level of, that kind of like greed and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's image.
Yeah, do it.
It's that image that people believe in and why they voted for him. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, the gold and the opulence and that kind of thing.
And so much of it was even fake. I mean, now he's rich, but...
And then there's a scene in there where Trump is mentioned.
Okay.
And then Charlize Theron and Keanu Reeves step into scene. Like, it doesn't even cut. It's like Trump is mentioned and Charlize and they're
we're getting like a Trump angel thing going on. Like,
yeah, I guess for me,
good revelation stuff going on here.
Yeah, I do feel like there is, because Trump, to me, one of the bigger Trump things would be like Trump cards, tarot cards, and for some reason the judgment card. Like, I think it's 20. I think the judgment card is 20.
Yeah.
And the T is the 20th letter of the alphabet. So I just feel like that association is there, the biblical stuff. And then
and T is also Tesla. It's like it's the same logo.
Yeah, 100%. And I know it's very biblical to me. The word Trump is in the Bible, like in the old versions of the Bible, and trumpet, which is obviously in the Bible. Yeah, yeah. So, and the angel blows the trumpet, like Gabriel blows the trumpet. That's actually another reason why I was interested in Constantine before, when I was just watching little snippets of it. It's just Gabriel is one of the big angels in that one, and then he plays Gabriel, doesn't he? In Good Fortune.
Yeah.
So
his name Gabriel. Yeah.
And Gabriel's trumpet. Gabriel's trumpet. So it's like, I don't know. There's definitely...
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been interested because that's one of the stories Maestro Flores tells, is that when he was 7 years old, he heard the angels and the trumpets and was given these visions that he kind of guided his whole life. So I've always been kind of interested in that kind of thing. I'd love to hear some angel trumpets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, those are, we also have the swans that talk, the white swans, the trumpeter swans.
Trumpeter swans, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know.
There's also a movie that I need to watch that this always comes up. There's the swan and the trumpet.
I was going to say, I've never really gone down the swan sinkhole, like Black Swan and...
Black Swan, I've gone down that a little bit. It's Natalie Portman. Who's the other? What's her name? The Ashton Kutcher's. The Jupiter.
Yeah.
What's her name?
She's in Black Swan, isn't she?
Yeah, Mila Kunis.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got a whole Jupiter thing going.
She does.
She's in
Which, I mean,
Jupiter's
it's neat to think just that, the Leda and the Swan is a direct reference to Jupiter.
Yeah.
So Jupiter ties mythologically straight to the Swan. So,
Yeah, we were talking about Jupiter. There was... what's that guy? He's in...
Channing
Tatum.
Yeah.
And this is something we need to, like, Roofman.
Yeah.
And Step Up.
Yeah.
There's something... We're going to have to go down that.
Maybe that'll be another episode, because I feel like that really aligns with the day Maestro passed away.
Exactly.
Is the same day that Roofman came out, which is... feels very much like a Tonkiri thing, because he's got a bear on top of his shoulders, a white bear. He's got a turtle on his shirt. These are like central elements.
Well, I mean, that's the vision of Maestro Flores, of the white bear on top of the mountain, reaching up to heaven. I mean, that's pretty Roofman.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it's funny because in the conversation I was like, okay, Metro Forest going, I gotta step it up.
Step it up, exactly.
And you were like, next day you're sending me these posters of the White Bear Roofman and Step It
Well,
Up.
that's what I get in my brain when you're saying, step it up.
And Jupiter Ascending is basically stepping it up.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I'm gonna have to see that film.
Yeah.
And it's Kirsten Dunst in that. I think that.
Kirsten Dunst. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of neat.
Yeah.
Well, I think
probably good.
That's pretty good. I think that was great. I would watch this.
Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to call it a day.
It is. Okay, until next time.
Okay, until next time. Take care.